Hey, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. How are you? Welcome to stream. I'm hoping everything's working okay. I've fixed up the connection since my last interview. Remember that one didn't go too well with Shauna with the lagginess. But hopefully we're going to be good today because we've got a special guest on today's stream. We've got Ricky from Income School. I'm going to bring him on in just a few moments. Let me just get this mic out of the shot a little bit and we'll be good. Frank is here, and he started off by saying he loves the popcorn theme for his sites. Fantastic endorsement. Thanks, Frank. I'm glad you like it. Who on earth have we got in tonight? We've got Addicted to Tech. But let's start with the Eaglers. I noticed that Phil's in. And Sue. Oh, and Michael's just popped in. Michael Peters, good to see you. And then we've got CTA Marketeer, Craig in the Cloud, Easy Spaniel Training, Fruitback Cat, Hassan, Yaps here, Joanne, Marcus, Peter as well, Stuart, good to see you, and UK Beauty Room, aka Olivia, good to see you all. I hope you brought some questions with you tonight for Ricky. I mean, we've got a lot to talk about, haven't we? There's a lot of things happening. Do you see that GPT-4 was released today? Ooh, let me just adjust my chair. So that could be a big change on the AI landscape, possibly. Hello, Sammy. Who else? Oh, thank you. Let me just turn up the mic a little bit. Is that better? I hope that's better. Anyway, let me bring in our special guest. It's Ricky from Income School. He doesn't need any introduction, really. I think you all know who he is. Let's bring him on. Here we go. Ricky.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Good to see you. Thanks for joining me. It's kind of early for you, is it?
No, it's actually midday. This is a great time.
Perfect time. Okay. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock at night here, but that's fine. I like working in the evening. So, what's new with you? Anything to report?
Biggest thing for me, well, two things, I guess. My microphone's getting a little messed up too. I just messed up the little elastic on it. It's funny. Yeah. Couple things. I've been working a lot on my own blog. So I started earlier this year a blogging project. I'm calling it Project Double Time. I'm not releasing the site right now because I want to try to build it very organically. But it's a huge challenge. I try to get to $4,000 a month earnings by the end of the year. Wow. And so, yeah, lots of work. And I'm behind on content, mostly because of the other thing. The other thing that's going on right now is I have a team, not a huge team, but I have a team, and we work best together. So we have an office. We were there for 3.5 years, and I've been working on a new space, and it wasn't ready yet, but my lease was up. So we're all working from home. So right now we're kind of in transition. Yep.
And that's having a big effect on your productivity? Nice. You say
in some ways, yes, and yes, in some good ways and some bad. So definitely more interruptions at home for non-work related things, but fewer interruptions for work related non-productive things.
Yeah, that makes
sense. Yeah. So it's a trade-off. I think I'm actually getting more content creation time.
Okay. So let's talk about that. I mean, because Sammy has quickly asked, how many articles on the site currently, Ricky?
Yeah, so published, completely up and published, it's like 26. And I'm supposed to have like 170 by the end of this month. So it's not going to get to 170. I have a bunch that have been written for me by writers that we paid to write for us. But I'm spending a fair amount of time on each one that they wrote because they're just not quite there.
Not quite to your
it's
standard.
a topic I know a lot about.
Yeah.
No, they're not. and I'm putting my name on a lot of them, you know. So and I'm taking a lot of my own photos. So you know, they put stock images in there, and I'm like, this feels a little bit too. It doesn't feel real. So I'm like, I'm
And
just gonna go
yeah,
take a picture real quick.
and I guess that's the difference nowadays, isn't it? You really do have to just raise that bar as high as you possibly can. And is this good? Can I make this better? Yeah, I could. Let's go and take a photo or whatever, or rewrite that, or make it as good as it possibly can, because that's the only thing that's going to stand a chance nowadays. Um, I've got a super chat, so I really need to say hello to Peter Creative. Thank you for that super chat. That's 50 SEKs. I'm not quite sure what an SEK is, but thank you. I'm sure that will cover the cost of a beer. He asked, thanks for your work. I use both Acabado and Popcorn Theme. How is Ricky's relationship with Jim? Are they still friends? That's a little personal if I do say so, Peter, but I'm
That's
sure
okay.
he'll answer. Ricky?
Yeah, totally. That's totally fine. Yeah, Jim and I are still friends. So he moved with his family to southern Utah. It's a 10-hour drive, and we tried running the business together with the whole team in one spot and him remote. And after 6 months, it was really hard.
Yeah.
So it's hard when you're in business with a close friend, to not, and really it's hard with anybody, right? Um,
Yeah.
to
But
do
friends and
anything like
family
that.
even
And
harder, I think.
oh yes. And both of us really wanted to preserve the relationship. So um, so we worked things out in a way, and in the end, like, I didn't go to him and say, hey, you're out of here. It was more like, here's some options that I think would work. What do you want to do? And we kind of talked through it, and in the end it was like, yeah, you know what, I'll go, and it'll make more sense. um and we still talk on the phone. He calls me up every now and then. He called me up recently with a website question, because a lot of the tech stuff, he knows a lot of it, but there's some of the stuff with like membership sites that he hadn't done because I set it up for us.
Okay.
So he was calling with some questions, that kind of stuff. So we chat. Sometimes he calls me just to catch up. So yeah, we're good friends.
That's good. Thanks for the question. Yeah, keep the questions coming in. I mean, personal questions, I guess, are
Yeah,
fine,
and I'll
but we're
try to be
going to.
faster answering.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We'll run till 10 o'clock my time, so we've got an hour. Um,
Yeah.
so, Sammy, again, with another question now. Words per article. Now, this is a subject that I know back in the day was something that you would talk about quite a lot, that, you need to write this amount of words. And, thinking about
Yeah.
response posts and pillar posts or cornerstone posts, that kind of thing. I think your thinking has changed on this. Am I right? What would you say when someone says, how many words do I need in an article?
Right. To me, the answer, and it's just easier when you have done this for a little while and you kind of know, um, but as many words as it takes is my answer.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's a search query I'm trying to rank for, and it's kind of small, and it's just, it's a question I'm going to answer, but 500 words is plenty. There are times where there's a lot to say, but it's really like people just want some information, some data. And it's like, let me give them a big table and just a little bit of context in paragraphs, and that's it.
Yeah.
The articles I've written so far, most of them are 1,000 to 2,500 words, but that's just because those are the topics I've written
That's
on
what
so
they needed
far.
to have. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
I think in
exactly.
today's age of very quick information and very short attention spans, you just need to be on point, clear, concise, and cut out a lot
Yes.
of the waffle. I think we're all guilty of too much waffle and fluff within our content. So answer the question, deliver on what the promise is around the article title, and you should be fine. Okay. Yeah, as UKB Dream says, I think quality over quantity is better, of course. Another question here from Marcus. Thank you for all the questions, because that's going to make the stream really great if you can just keep the questions coming in and not rely on me to try and think of
Absolutely.
them. What are your thoughts on managing multiple sites at once, which I think is something that we all do? I keep hearing it's better to focus on one. I suffer from shiny object syndrome. Oh, I thought that was going to be kind of a technical question in terms of should I have someone, some single dashboard or something. But I guess the question is there about focus. Should you just focus on one site or multiple? It sounds like at the moment you're focusing on just the one.
Yeah, I mean, I own a bunch of sites, and I do the same thing. my kids and I all have ADHD. I mean, we just shiny object syndrome is just kind of par for the course.
Yeah.
But every time I switch focus, there's a huge loss in efficiency. And so managing multiple sites is great, but you need to put some kind of systems in place so that you can make sure you're efficient. And, Alex mentioned dashboards and things so that you can see things at a glance. All of that's good, making, just processes in place. But right now, like I know for me, I'm building something up new from scratch. I really want it to be very successful, and I want it to, and I'm putting it mostly on me, not my team, to make it happen. And so I'm trying to force myself to not work on my other sites very much right now, and empower my team to do that themselves.
Yeah. I guess that's the key. If you want to focus on something, you need to try and outsource some of your other projects. Okay, Michael asks, are you writing in topic clusters? It's an interesting question. So that's basically where you take one
Yeah.
very specific subject within a niche and then build out a lot of content around that.
Yes, I am. So one of the things I've been teaching a bit for the last little bit is like, if whatever my niche is, I'm going to start very small on a few small clusters. So not just one thing, but each thing that I'm going to attack, I'm going to put a lot of content around it before I move on to anything else or build out from there. I do more than one simply because I don't know how small that one cluster is going to be in terms of search volume. Not really until I do it. And so I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, but definitely very heavily focused on a few clusters with the intent to expand.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, talking about content a bit more from Sue. How much do you use AI and which are your faves? Now, actually, I've been recording a video on this today, or planning a video, and thinking about AI more from a content creation point of view. So, we can create content with AI, but you can actually use it for lots of other things. So I want to open that question up a little bit in terms of if you are using AI, and if so, what for, and what AI tool are you using?
I'm really not using very much, and frankly, I should probably use more. Like you said, Alex, there are a lot of other uses for AI beyond just content creation. I definitely am using it to help me, and I've tried out a bit on some of them. I don't have a subscription to Jasper or anything, and I probably should. I've played with
Link in the
ChatGPT quite a
description.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yep. I've played with ChatGPT quite a bit. I've used it for lots of ideas. I use it oftentimes, especially if I'm doing a lot of keyword research and I'm like, okay, I got a list here of 20 articles I want written, but I got to come up with 20 catchy headlines. It's just so much easier. I can use it to help me. And I don't necessarily just take what it gives me, but I'll ask it for like 20 ideas. And sometimes I'll piece a couple of them together, but I end up with something really good really quickly.
It's great for that.
But I know that there are so many other uses that I haven't even scratched the surface on that would probably help with my operational efficiency.
Well, for example, you could give it all a load of keyword
time.
research and say, create my content clusters from these keywords, and it would group all your keywords together.
Yeah.
Or
Totally.
One thing I did today was just trying to come up with domain name ideas. There's on the AI PRM plugin for ChatGPT. You just give it a niche, and it will give you 100 domain name ideas, which are all pretty good, which are all .com, which are all available to register. I mean,
that's so cool.
It's that kind of stuff, I think, that's going to really change. I think we're just scratching the surface on AI at the moment in terms of the real power, and I think it's not going to be content creation. Well, hopefully not.
Yeah, I think that I think you're probably right there. I think there's so much that it can do for us beyond content creation, and that content creation is going to require a human touch. One thing that concerns me a little bit is just the danger of skill atrophy. When we stop using a skill, we lose it. And so unless it's a skill that you're really like okay with completely losing, so like sometimes I'm going to force myself to be creative and come up with headlines just so that I can still do it in the future. We will lose skills if we don't do them anymore. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think there's a lot that AI can help us with.
Okay. A quick follow-up from Peter. Good to hear. This is going back to your question about his question about Jim and yourself He says that he pretty much started his career and changed his life in a way. There you go. That's a nice thing to say. I think we've answered your question, Hassan. This is from UK Beauty Room. Do different niches have different RPMs? My new website has hardly any commercial content, and I'm worried when I eventually put ads on it, the RPM will be low. I think the answer to that is definitely yes, they do vary. But I think it comes down to more than the site. It's down to the specific bits of content, possibly. I don't know. What's your experience with RPMs?
That's totally true. I mean, we can paint with a broad brush if we want to a little bit. Finance is going to have high RPMs for the most part, but it's also really saturated. Anything where you're any content that's really geared toward people who have spare time and spare money is going to do well. So sometimes you'll be surprised. We had really high RPMs with campers. Campers and RVs, but it's because who's researching campers and RVs? People with time and money on their hands. And so really high RPMs, it wasn't obvious. And so it does come down to the specific content as well. I mean, we could have written about using campers and that kind of stuff, but we wrote a lot more about, selecting one, finding the right one for you. And I think that did a lot better in terms of RPMs than maybe if we had just written about camping.
For sure. Well, it's definitely about the audience as well as the subject, isn't it? The kind of people you attract.
Absolutely.
Their demographic, their country, age, all that kind of stuff has a real big effect. It's very difficult to predict, and I don't know.
Yes.
You can always change ad network to increase them often. Riches in the niches. That works if you say niches and not niches. Riches in the niches.
Right.
Quite have the same ring. Riches in the niches says how to make content more engaging in terms of user experience. I'll just start off, I think, by making it real punchy and quick. Bullet points, formatting, imagery, that can all help. Ricky, what would you say?
Yes, absolutely. Those things. And then, anytime that you can add a little bit of a personal touch. So I was reading an article just the other day on the niche that I'm in. It's stuff that I do in my life. I know it really well. I'm also in groups in social media with other people who are involved as well. So I see the way everybody talks about it. And then I was reading an article, and the information in it, I felt confident was factually correct. But the writing, it was written in a way that I was pretty confident the author has absolutely no experience. Whether it was a person or an AI, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I could tell. And so I don't know. It's going to vary from niche to niche. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes punchy and just fact is enough. But just making sure that you know the niche well enough that you can use the right vocabulary and talk like those people is going to go a long way. But I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But I 100% agree with everything else that Alex said.
Get the tone of
quick
voice,
to the point,
quick to the point. Add personality, even add humor if it can work.
Yes, totally.
You can engage with it that way. Thanks for all the questions. I'm going to try my best to keep up, but obviously we do have to answer them. Does the emergence of high quality AI written content devalue human writing? Or on the flip side, does it increase the value of human writing? I don't know. Will consumers actually care whether an article is written by AI instead of a human as long as it's helpful? I guess that opens up to a bigger question that we may actually start getting facts and answers to questions not even from articles or not even from websites. We may just get them directly from the robot's mouth. But with my experience with AI, sometimes they don't always get the facts right. So who can you trust more, a robot or a human? I mean, what do you think on that one, Ricky? Does the emergence of high quality AI written content devalue human writing?
I agree with you that there's, in some ways, maybe yes, in some ways it increases the value. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to feel like the writing on the internet has become very kind of sanitary, just bland. If we stick to AI, and I know AI can write with humor, and I know AI can write with other tones. It can do all that, right? But at the same time, that's not what most people are directing it to do. And so unless we do a really good job of making it feel like a human, people like interacting with other people. That's how we're made. And so if it doesn't feel like a human, then, and again, I don't think they're going to care if it's really a human or an AI. I think they're going to care that it feels like it. But to your other point, Alex, of, what about just people getting their questions answered from a robot? This is kind of like a leveled up version of Alexa. And I get it. It's leveling up quite a bit, but in the end, I still think people will want to interact with people. And so there are certain questions, absolutely, you might go to a chatbot for and feel confident with, but there are a lot of other questions where it's like, I want to know what multiple people think that maybe don't all think the same thing. So I'm open to reading some articles, and that actually happens more often than I think some people think.
Yeah. When you want
Like,
opinion, it's
as a
very hard to get
blogger, I
opinion.
know.
Yeah, to get opinion from a robot
Yes.
is hard. Maybe
Yeah.
a fax more easy. I don't know. We're all at
Yeah.
it's at the very beginning of this. We don't quite know how the world is going to change, but it definitely is with all this fantastic technology that's coming out. Okay, here's a slightly different question in a very short but valuable message. I always like my messages to be short and valuable. What is the fastest
Yeah,
way
me too.
you could advise or even advise for a beginner on a niche website blogging? Should we focus on affiliate market, profit, or ad based? I think what Ricky's going to say is probably none of those things, but let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to focus on. Yeah, I'm gonna focus on content first, obviously. And as we build out these topic clusters and create content, we're going to see what's working really well. And as we do, that is going to steer some things. So, I mean, some affiliate marketing is part of that. Yes, absolutely, do that. Place ads on your website once you have a bit of traffic. Yeah, absolutely do that. But where am I going to focus on optimizing? Well, we're going to see what's working well, and we're going to adapt from there. There are times where you create some content that just does extremely well, and you realize, oh, wow, I could create a digital product around that topic.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, you have something that earns you way more than ads or affiliates. So if you go into a project with the monetization in mind first, like, oh, I'm going to build an ads-based blog and just try to get as much traffic as I can, it's actually probably going to end up being very limiting, and you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunity.
I think, you want to focus on trying to build your audience, building your traffic, even building a community, depending on what you're doing. And then once you have that and you've been giving value to them in your content, then maybe you can start to think about getting something back via monetization. But to go in monetization first, I think, as Ricky says, is going to limit you and is going to maybe send you down the wrong paths. Tony is here from Simplified Gardening. Good to see you. Carl is here as well. Good to see you, Carl. Baz the Dev, good to see you. Shush, Siri, there's some inferior AI butting in there. Some people have said this is a Gutenberg press moment in time. It's like the invention of the book press changing the world. Do you have any other projects, Ricky, away from blogging and YouTube? Something maybe offline or, I don't know, something else?
I mean, I've always been an investor, but I don't have any other business ventures or anything that I'm working on. I do have a tendency to, with the people that I know in my life, I do have a tendency to kind of mentor with other businesses. And so there are a few of those, but I don't have any financial interest. It's mostly just like, hey, let me help you out with this. And so I don't personally, I honestly, especially with, blogging and YouTube and video in general, whether it's YouTube or other platforms as well, there's still tremendous opportunity. And I've heard people say, yeah, but AI can make videos too. And I say, yes, but they can't make videos like people can make videos. And it's not even close. I'm sorry. It's not even close. And so I think content businesses still have a lot of years ahead of them of pretty bright future. And we're going to see how things play out. But I don't disagree that it could be, I don't know if it's quite Gutenberg press, but this could be a pretty pivotal moment. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with change. I'm all about adapting. So we'll kind of see where things take us for sure.
Yeah, we're in a fast changing time and got to go with it. Is my audio bad, Milwaukee's?
It's great to me. It sounds awesome for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sue, you're there. You tell me. Oh, right. I'm going to try and catch up with the chat, so we're going to go real fast. Yep, a lot of people were saying they see sites churning out AI. Okay. Is blogging doomed? Quick yes or no on that one. I don't think we're doomed.
No.
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 Marcus says, I want to create a site, but the traffic numbers seem low for my main keywords. Many sites are covering this topic. Google Trends says it's hot, and there's many Quora posts. Does it have potential? I'd say so.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to do things different than the other people. So find your voice, find your niche within that.
Yeah, exactly. There's always that unique factor, which is, of course, you. And just because you've seen that one keyword that maybe doesn't look quite good, there's going to be up to an infinite amount of other keywords down the long tail that you can explore.
Alex, you just said that. It's something, this is a mathematical thing that I told my kids and it kind of blew their minds. But like, we often think of infinity as being like big, right? So, to reach an infinite number of blog posts, I would have to literally write about everything. And the reality is that between the numbers 0 and 1, there are an infinite number of numbers. You can get smaller too. And so like within each niche, it's like you said, Alex, like for practically speaking, there's potentially an infinite number of keywords within your niche. And many of which have never been written about. So
many of which have not even been typed into Google yet.
Correct.
They might be getting typed in tomorrow.
Yep.
So don't worry don't focus too much on those keyword tools. Sometimes you just got to start creating and see what happens,
Correct.
Super chat from Glenn, aka NVS. That's 100 Danish kroner, which that sounds like quite a lot. Thank you very much, Glenn. Thank you both for helping me get where I am today. After 6 years with affiliate marketing, I now work as a professional SEO marketing consultant. Congratulations, Glenn. I do want to say what went wrong. Why are you not an affiliate marketeer? But that's fantastic news. And you've been around the channel for quite some time and a fan of the show, and it's good to see you. Yeah. It's great to hear, and obviously a fan of you as well, Ricky. Joanne asks, can you explain schema for me? Now, I'm going to add a little thing to the end of that. Can you explain schema in 30 seconds?
Yeah, right. I mean, simply speaking, it's just, we use a little bit of kind of code to signify to Google that there's certain information in our blog post or in the content and exactly what that information is so that Google can take those little pieces and present them in a more interesting way, basically, and use it in search results as well. It's not as complicated as people maybe make it out to be. It seemed complicated when I first learned about it, but it's not too crazy.
Yeah, it's just literally marking up. It's like if you have a recipe on your site, you basically tell Google this is a recipe, because you know how Google often serves those kind of bits of content up in a slightly different way to your traditional text. But Google's actually getting pretty smart
these
now
are
with
the
detecting
ingredients.
content. Yeah, and you basically just
yes, they are.
Yeah, it's a bit like those little stickers that you stick on documents that would say, this is this bit, that's that bit, and just to help Google out, because it's only a stupid robot at the end of the day.
Great way to put it.
Yeah. It's water, Phil. Vodka later. Question: which of the websites you've built have you learned the most from, and why? That's a great question, Sue. Ricky, which of your sites would you say had the biggest impact on your learning?
Probably, because we've done a ton, and we've had some that were way more successful than others. And we've learned different lessons from each one, but I would say probably Cook for Folks, because it's the one we hoped it would work a lot better, and it actually did for a little bit, and then just got hit in some Google updates. But it's the one we've picked apart the most and really like solidified a few really key principles for us that we were like, yeah, maybe this is true, maybe this is true, and now it's like, nope. For example, topical authority is very important. Covering 100 separate keywords on the same topic, but they're just not even interrelated. It's just, let's look for low competition, highest search volume we can. It is not very effective.
No.
And that was the experiment we ran with that site, and it just didn't work.
No. Google's put a big emphasis on authority, hasn't it? I mean, everyone bangs on about EAT and everything,
Yes.
but yeah, that takes a while to build. And yeah, just picking random topics because you think there's low competition is probably not enough nowadays. Okay.
Nope.
Thank you for your Arabic comments. I haven't got time to translate them today, but I'm sure they're very nice. Okay, Jay, good question. I would like to know your thoughts on trying to recover a site hit by updates constantly. Do you give up or do you try to revive it? Good question.
My natural tendency is to try to revive, but it's because I am too sentimental to just let things that I've worked on go.
Yeah.
I have some that I've kind of just put on the back burner though, because it's just been more effective for me to just push forward with some new projects. It's a timing thing. Right now I'm in a position where it's important for me to have some new projects. And so that's what I'm doing. But I don't usually just like throw things away. I'll keep paying for the domain registration and hopefully come back to it later.
Yeah, I've got a couple of sites. Sometimes I just give mine away to viewers. It kind of works well. We have a little giveaway on a live stream, and I'll see if someone else can do the reviving. But yeah, that's a tricky
good
one.
idea.
Sometimes you do have to cut your losses, and it's if you have got one that is continuously bouncing around or just a real chore, then it might be time to start something else. But yeah, as Ricky said, you don't have to chuck it away completely. You can just park it for a bit and maybe come back to it later because things change all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Daniel, Leslie, Niche Site Lady, good to see you. You get a little... Helen says, I don't give a fig what Google thinks. I'm continuing with my content. That's good. Attitude, Helen. Marcus has been building a Facebook community, which, of course, is another option. I see a lot of people having great success with Facebook groups and things. 43,000 members in total for Marcus so far. ChatGPT 4 is slow, capped to only 100 chats and only available for Plus users. Well, it's somewhat of a sales tool, isn't it? I think GPT-4 to get everyone to try and spend some money with OpenAI because they're making huge losses every day at the moment. Yep, good to see you. Jan has just watched the ChatGPT 4 introduction. Boring presentation, but cool stuff. Thank you for this summary. I think that's all we need to know. Azif, thank you. Says that myself and Ricky were two of Lockdown Sanity characters. That's a fantastic accolade. I'll take that. Hassan says, do you think blogging in other languages is worth it? For instance, French, Spanish, or Arabic? Personally, I think yes. As soon as my Spanish gets to a level where people can understand me, I'm probably going to start doing some. I think in terms of opportunity, there is great opportunity in those markets because I think the English-speaking market is quite saturated, especially in certain niches. What would be your thoughts, Ricky, on Hassan's question?
Yeah, that I would agree with that entirely. It's it just comes down to the saturation. So a lot of people target the English-speaking market because high RPMs, there's a lot of money to be made, but there's also a lot of competition. I haven't done one and I should. So I might have to start a blog for a Brazilian audience in Portuguese.
It's just harder if you don't have the language, isn't it? It's just a bit harder.
Yep, totally.
Ariel, good to see you. Third live stream today. Well, I saw that you started streaming. Was that last night or the other day? I didn't get to jump on, but I definitely want to catch the next one, Ariel. And I want you on here as well soon to talk about your fantastic spreadsheet. Tony says, AI will never be able to generate video like creators like myself do. I can't see AI getting outside and digging up a cabbage or whatever in terms of your videos, Tony. So yeah, it seems unlikely. Okay, I'm just going to try and catch up. A lot of people saying hello. In terms... Baz, thank you. I like your humor. How are we doing for the likes, by the way? 35. If we get up to 50, I'm going to be giving away a popcorn theme license and also some WP Eagle merch. So 2 giveaways. So make sure that you do click the like button now if you haven't done so already. Question here from, I want to say Zymon. I'm going to say, Simon, is there still cashless link building? It's an
Like
interesting question.
link
Like
building you
free?
don't pay for.
Yeah, it means you have to
Yeah.
do stuff yourself.
Yeah, I mean, totally. That I don't ever buy links in any way. So what I do, I call it industry outreach because mentally I don't like to just be focused on a link. I want to focus on building real authority and connections with people in my industry. Um, but a lot of the tactics are the same ones being taught by lots of other people, and they don't have to cost me money. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, just reaching out to people, getting on podcasts. A lot of podcasters are looking for people to interview. So find some of the newer podcasts in your niche to get started and kind of work your way up. It's a great way to get started. Haro is really time consuming, but it can be a good way to get mentioned and get some links. Uh, but there are dozens of ways to get links that don't have to cost you anything. They take effort.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everything can be cashless. It just involves you putting your time into it. There's always that ratio between your time and your
Right.
money. So you're going to put the money in or you're going to put the time in. And link building can be a very
Yeah.
time consuming endeavor. Carl, you're too kind. The two people who put me where I am now on screen. Thanks, guys. Well, look where Carl is now. I mean, he's king of affiliate gathering and taking over. Thanks for joining us, Carl. Okay, Glenn's just clarifying he's still an affiliate. So he's still got stuff on the side, not just a job. From R7 Eagle. Hey, Ricky, do you still have the fly fishing pieces hanging in your office that I gave you?
Yeah, they so I mentioned early in the live stream that we're between offices right now.
Yeah.
So but they've been on the wall behind me in my office for almost every video. If you've seen me sitting at my desk, there's 2 frames on the wall that have flies for fly fishing. Those are from R7 Eagle, and they're really awesome. So thank
So
you.
yeah, he does still have them.
Yeah. I felt honored that you sent them to me.
Another question. Do you still recommend doing keyword research for starting a niche blog with low competition topics related to your niche, or start with the cluster topics that would be relevant per published post? It's a very long question. I think you should always do a bit of keyword research when you're starting out, for sure. Otherwise, you won't have any content ideas.
Yeah, I think so. It's a mix, right? So it's important to have good clusters of content, but at the same time, we want to make sure that at least some of the articles we're writing don't have real high competition in the early days, because we need to win some. The more higher ranking articles you have, that actually helps the other content on your website. It builds up your overall authority. That's something that in a conversation with Kyle Roof that he brought up that he found to be a factor. And I've seen that myself. And so we do still want to find at least a handful of those lower competition queries, even if they're not going to have a ton of search volume, and include those in our clusters of content. So it's not one or the other. It's definitely both.
It's both, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, my experience says last 2 weeks, all of my website lost 90% of ranking keywords. I don't have any AI content, not one article, and I don't have product reviews. What on earth do you say when that happens?
Yeah, that's painful. I've never lost 90% in, I mean, ever. But I've seen a website lose 30, maybe 50 of my own. But I've heard plenty of people who have shared the same kind of numbers, 90%. And it's painful. So, what I'm doing is I'm trying to understand why. I'm going to read a bit of analysis. I'm going to try to see for those who have actually gathered a bunch of data, like a lot of data. There are a handful of websites that do this basically every time there's a major update. I'm going to read some of those articles and try to find out what were the things that stood out, because there oftentimes are correlations. And so I'll try to see if one of those applies to me, but then I just have to take a hard look at my site and try to understand why. It doesn't necessarily mean your content was bad or low quality. It's just there's something going on that the algorithm is getting flags that it's just not It could just be the authority, the EEAT. It could be any number of things.
It could be lots of things. You could check Webmaster Console if that gives you an idea. I've got one of my sites that
Yeah.
bounces around all the time. It will literally jump from being on page 1 of Google to being off the first 10 pages, and it will do this every few weeks.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be as simple as a technical issue. Maybe, I don't know who your hosting company is. Maybe they're not very reliable, because if you're continuously failing Web Core Vitals, that can have a big effect. There's a lot of things that you need to dig into there, but try and keep your chin up and carry on. Little bonus there from Tony. Sold an old domain name yesterday that had crappy backlinks and sold the domain for $13.50. Nice little bonus. Yeah, that's always a big win. Glenn says he's doing the exact opposite. I can't remember what we're talking about there, but he's going for the low but valuable content. I do the stupid hard work that AI can't. Carl says blogging is not dead. I started a new website 5 months ago and it's now over 40k page views, all organic search. So keep going, guys and girls. But I bet you've been throwing content at that site non-stop, Carl. Live streams, they are scary, but once you get used to it, and don't worry, like when it goes wrong like I do, then you're fine, because it will go wrong. Yeah, Chat GPT, they'll go back to the AI and how Chat GPT is maybe going to become a more advanced Alexa. Yeah, Amazon, I would have thought, and Apple, in terms of their Siri, are probably, they're going to have to rethink their AI, because they're nothing compared to Chat GPT. But I thought
you know what? I would... Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I would love it if Siri was as smart as ChatGPT and is capable. Like, if we can get there, then I will be using that assistant way more. Right now, I hardly use it except to set reminders.
Because it's not very useful, No, and I thought the whole idea was, with OpenAI, that was founded by Elon, was that other companies could tap into it. So in theory, Apple and Amazon could license ChatGPT and plug it into their AI, into their voice assistant. I'd have thought. I don't know. But it seems like Microsoft are trying to monopolize OpenAI a little bit. That was the whole point why it's called Open. SEO question. Do you use any SEO optimization tools like Surfer or Neuron Writer, etc.? Ask Clouds.
Not really. But I think a lot of that is just because I have been doing this so long that I just create my content and do things in a way that, for the most part, I'm going to pass the tools. But at the same time, the other thing is, I think there are a lot of people who are hoping that a tool is going to be the solution for them. And this is not intended to be a criticism of anybody watching this video, but it's really easy to hope that, oh, well, maybe this tool will help fix this or this and that. And you can end up chasing tools and bouncing between them a lot. And so I think tools are really helpful, but we need to remember that they're just the tool. And in the end, like, you're the master wielding the tool. So make sure that it's that way and not the other way around, that it's not the hammer that's ruling you. I don't have any problem with any of the tools. Just make sure you know how to that you're using it in a way that's benefiting you, and
they
not
all
just
look like a bit of a silver bullet or a magic bullet. These tools, because that's how they sell themselves. Of course, that they're the solution to your problems.
Right.
But of course, I don't really use an SEO tool. I've got Rank Math installed on some sites, but I don't go through the optimization process. I think once you start creating content, you start to learn how it should be written, and obviously you need to include the keywords. Based on your keyword research, what the headings are going to be and all that kind of stuff. So I think they're useful to a point, but they also can become quite expensive when you start paying for things like Surfer SEO, SEM Rush, Ahrefs. Before you know it, you're $1,000 down at the beginning of the month before you've even earned a commission. So, I mean, be careful with the tools. Okay, we're going to go for about another 10 minutes and then I'll do the draw. We're up to 48 likes and 1 dislike, so that's nearly 50 interactions, let's say. Thank you for the dislike. I love you. Okay, keep chatting. It's good to see you guys all chatting amongst yourselves as well in the chat. Easy Spaniel Training says, my main site died 40 to 50%. You've got to fight back. Take a look at your info and push through it. Good tip. Phil has a free letter.co.uk domain up for sale if you're interested. Stuart says, I have a plumbing service business and a separate blog in the DIY space. How would you recommend my service business give my blog authority? Ricky, well, yeah, you answer first.
Yeah, so we have a blog and a service business in the same niche, then that's great. I think that the fact that you work in this industry can actually lend authority to the blog to help the blog perform better. So how? I mean, you're going to link back and forth when it's relevant. Your about page is going to link clearly to your actual business, and maybe even have a page where you show yourself on your, like an about page on your business where you introduce yourself, and then you can see, and you can use schema markup to show I'm the same person as this person on this other website. And then likewise, if they're in the same niche, and if you create some content that is locally geared, it's a local based keyword, then you can use that essentially to generate leads in your area. So if you answered a local, plumbing question, but it's, related to local rules or codes or whatever like that, then it's pretty easy to then say, and, this is the business that I run and I'm here available for you. Here's my contact or whatever.
Ways,
and
sure.
Now all of a sudden you have leads. Yep.
But yeah, just by linking everything up, and as Rick says, in your author bio, make sure that's all done, and say, you're the managing director of a very successful local plumbing company. And then on your service website, you make sure you've got lots of testimonials or links from clients. That would be great as well. And it will all the eat will flow between the two sites. It's a great way to get it because you're a plumber, and if you're writing about DIY, which I guess includes some plumbing, then yeah, that gives you a lot of authority. A lot of chat about domain sales. Yeah, you could definitely make money just by selling domains if they've got potential. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm very... Hello, Steve. You're late. Anyone else dream about this stuff, or is it just me? And how weird would that sound to someone not involved in this business? I think that's normal. Whatever you're thinking about, you tend to dream about. Mm-hmm. Okay. John, keep it clean, please. Dana, a long time no see. Where on earth have you been? You come and see me when Ricky's here, but we've not seen you for so long. Okay. Right. Question for Ricky from Hassan. Why do you primarily even use Instagram for Income School? Does it bring visitors or conversions? That's a good question because I don't really use Instagram at all.
Yeah. We have an Instagram and a Facebook for Income School. Mostly it's just kind of another way to reach people. What I'm trying to do is make sure that I have leads out to different audiences. There are kind of different groups of people that gravitate toward different social media. And so ideally, the most ideal way to have a social media strategy is to literally craft content for that audience. So Facebook, apparently anybody under, 20, probably even like 25 is basically not on Facebook. They're on Instagram and TikTok. And they'll laugh at you if you're like, hey, do you have a Facebook? I guess that's how it is, at least here.
So not cool,
Yeah, they're like, Facebook? That's for old people. I'm like, when I was in high school, there wasn't a Facebook. Yeah. So that's why what we're doing is our Facebook and Instagram are connected, and the same thing goes out on both. We don't get a ton of conversions there. We don't get a ton of engagement, but we get some. And I'll give you one example, and I know it's just one person, but my wife never watched my YouTube videos. She just she doesn't hang out on YouTube. Now she watches every single one because we put a link, and we have a little post and have a link that goes out every week when we have a new YouTube video that's kind of a little teaser of what it's about. So every week now she goes and watches it just because she's reminded of it where she's at. I've just started doing some shorts, and so now I'm putting those out on TikTok. They'll go out as reels as well. And again, the idea is just to try to reach different people than who I'm reaching through YouTube, because YouTube doesn't reach everyone.
No. Well, none of the platforms reach everyone. That's why I guess a mix of the of all of
Exactly.
them is a good thing. As Dennis just said.
And can I just add to that just one last thing? I'm doing that because since I have a team, I have the bandwidth to do it. If it was just me and I was making video, I would just focus on YouTube or whichever one
Yeah.
is the most whichever one you could do most easily.
Yeah. Whichever one feels the best.
Don't
For you,
stretch
and
yourself
that
too
goes
thin.
back to the focus again. Yeah. Try and spread yourself too
Yeah,
thin. If you want to do that, it's best to outsource, and I have help with that as well.
correct.
Quick question about your course. Any updates to Income School blogging course planned or coming? I guess it probably needs a little update, or at least a AI module or something. I don't know.
Yeah, probably a little bit. Probably some around AI. There's definitely some other stuff I just want to tweak and improve. A little bit, just kind of in the way that we teach. I'm always trying to find ways to, as we get feedback and stuff, try to find ways to make it easier and improve the success rate. So there will be some changes that way. Probably an AI module sooner rather than later, simply because that's needed.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Marcus asks, what are your thoughts on using a persona, not your real identity, on a blog or social media? Does it have a negative impact on EAT?
I don't think it has to have a negative impact on EAT as long as you have something you can base the persona on. So, people don't want to use their real face, their real name. I think that's fine. It makes it a little bit harder to, be really like interactive and show pictures of yourself and stuff, but you can kind of fake it. You can find other people. I don't know. There's some tricks for that, but I feel like it still needs to, or I've seen at least that you're better off if that is based in reality, a real person, even if it's not their same name. So I could easily create a persona that has some of my own background and stuff, and I could easily build real EEAT. I could even go be interviewed on a podcast under a different name and answer the questions and be very engaging and do that. But it's a little harder to do a lot of those activities for building EEAT. Real EEAT, like real authority and build community and stuff when it's not you. There's just going to always be limitations.
It's going to
So
make it harder.
there's just trade-offs.
It still can be done, but
Yeah,
there's a number of personas
absolutely.
I know on YouTube and all around in lots of industries that are personas, from all aspects, and you can make a career out of being a persona, but you just have to maintain it, and then it becomes
Good point.
kind of you in a way. And so, is it even a persona?
Yeah.
Okay, a couple more questions, then we'll go to the giveaway. How do you deal with traffic that's 40 to 50% from Discover? Well, that sounds great though, to get that Discover traffic. But the problem that Dana has is that it jumps up and down all the time. I'm up 50% one day, down 50% the other.
That's tricky because, it really is up and down. We've had some Discover traffic that just came and was there for like 2 weeks and then gone. And it's not one where you can reliably count on it ever. Like, I don't have specific tricks for making sure that you're going to show up and Discover. It's just very, I think the best thing you can do is diversify where you're getting your traffic. So try to build up other organic traffic as well. And then obviously we've talked a little bit about for EEAT building some of the social media stuff you can do, but that can also drive traffic as well. So I'm just continue to build up traffic the same way we always do. And then just sort of treat that Discover traffic as sort of like a extra, cherry on top when it comes.
Yeah. Okay. A couple more questions, and then we are going to do it. So I think Ricky's already said that he has been working on a private site right now, and I imagine you have some other sites that are private, do you? Because Hassan is always telling me that I share far too much with the world because he copies it. But no.
Yeah, we have a few private sites, but one that I'm like really working on, and I've publicly said that I'm working on it, and I'll share updates about it, but not share what it is over the course of the year and then reveal it. But I do have a handful of private sites too, just because. Yeah. Yep.
It's hard. Everyone's going to copy it, and especially now it's so much easier to actually copy stuff because you've got tools that can help you do it.
Oh yeah.
What I'm gonna 2 more questions. Any plans on updating the Acabado theme? New features?
Yeah, we're working on one update right now. The features I wouldn't say aren't like massively exciting, but we're like the footer really stinks. And so I'm replacing it with a footer where you're going to be able to customize it a lot more and add a lot of those. We'll add nicer looking footer menu and stuff, but also other things, contact info and stuff, to help with EEAT. And there were a handful of other things that I can't remember off the top of my head that we put into this update. There's an update that's in the works right now. But what we do with Aqua Bottom in the future, there are actually a few different paths I'm considering that I think could be exciting. So we'll see still.
Okay, these are the last ones. Does Income School purchase portfolios like in plumbing? That's an interesting idea, that you could just purchase a whole load of sites within a particular niche and build your authority that way. Maybe, I don't know. Do
We
you ever
haven't.
buy sites?
We sold a site.
Yeah, I know you sell sites, but do you ever buy
We
sites?
have, yeah. We've bought a few. We haven't been recently. Frankly, a big part of that is that I'm paying for Jim's half the company still, and so I'm trying not to spend too much. But I've never bought a portfolio of sites, but we sold Camper Report to someone who did exactly that, and I think it helped quite a bit because they owned several sites in the sort of RV and camper space that all could now work together. So I think it's a cool idea. Yeah.
Okay. Ricky, have you tried popcorn theme? A couple of questions. I know that you haven't. That's something I need to get Ricky to have a look at. We have spoken
Absolutely,
about it.
I want to try it.
Yeah, definitely try it. Get some ideas, and then he can incorporate them into Akabedo. Right, let's get on the computer. If you would like to win, the first thing is going to be a license for popcorn theme. Okay, so if you currently would like a free if you currently don't have popcorn theme, that's what I'm trying to say. Free license worth $99. All you got to do is say something in the chat right now. Let's get the music, and I'm just going to transition onto the computer. Let's go. Okay. Let me just get Ricky up here. Hang on. Okay, that's not right. Hang on, we're fine. Give me 2 seconds. I know what I need to do. I need to do a little overlay, and I need to get guest Ricky. There you are. You're looking a little. I think you look better. I think everyone looks better, including myself, when you are circular. There we go.
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay, yeah, so say something. You got another 10 seconds. Say something in the chat. I know you won, Hassan. I did see your email. I will get you your merch out. I don't know whether it will get to you. I've had trouble shipping to India and parts of the world over there before, but we'll see. I will get it sent out to you. Okay, let's get the Wheel of Names. I mean, the other week we did use ChatGPT to do the draw because Wheel of Names was playing up, but I think just for excitement, Wheel of Names is better. You can ask ChatGPT to pick a name out of a hat for you in an exciting way, and it did it, but it's not as exciting as the Wheel of Names. Okay. Your super chat's still there, Glenn, because it was so large. Okay, let's scoop you guys up. So this is for a popcorn theme license. Gone down to Zach, so I think that's everyone. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Good luck. Here we go. There's a lot of names in today. It's going to be Tony, but I think Tony's already got a popcorn theme license. Because Tony is a member, of course, so he gets 2 entries into the stream. Tony, would you like a prize? I can send you some more merch, although I think you've got pretty much every WP Eagle bit of merch there is. Yes, Peter, my live stream setup is, I'm basically using Ecamm to stream the software. And then I'm plugged in my DSLR, got the microphone, and Stream Deck to do all the sounds and transitions and that kind of stuff. Oh, you haven't got popcorn. Okay, perfect. That's the popcorn theme gone. So now this is for some WP Eagle merch, maybe a t-shirt like the one I'm wearing. But it could be a mug. It's either going to be a mug or a t-shirt. That's what I've got. Let's go. Yep, so WP Eagle members, they get 2 entries into the draw. Yeah, drop me an email, Tony, and I'll sort you out a license. So for the merch, I think it's going to be another member. It's not fixed in any way at all. Looks like Daniel, who I think, again, has had some merch in the past, but I'm happy to send you more. Yeah, it's definitely Daniel Croft. You are a winner. But sadly, that's brought us to the end of the stream. I'm going to transition back over there and we'll bid Ricky farewell. Okay. Thank you, Ricky. Have you enjoyed that?
You're welcome. It's been awesome. I love it.
We covered a lot of things, a lot of questions. Thank you all you guys out there for giving us so many good quality and interesting questions. Carl says, great to see you, Ricky. Hope to see you in person soon. Yeah. You've got to come over to York. Or failing that, I'm doing an affiliate gathering meetup down here in Spain. Which, there'll be more details on that soon. But yeah, it'd be good. We need to get over to the States again sometime soon. Thank you, CPA Marketeer Dana. Long time no see. Don't leave it so long next time. Do come and see us on the stream. We miss you. Stuart says, thank you. Fruitbat Cat says, thank you. Multiplayer Games says, wow, both are together here. Yes, we're all together here. I've got some more guests lined up over the next few weeks, so do make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of them. Joanne says, thank you. Hassan says, Income School should build a sites flipping platform. What do you think of that idea? Competition to Empire Flippers or Motion Invest, maybe? I think Ricky's got
we all did one.
It's another shiny object. You go, well, that would be interesting, but then it's a whole load of work on top of the whole load of work you're already doing.
It is. Yeah.
Where did you book, Carl? You need to let me know where you booked. Hopefully somewhere near. No, I'm not going to stay for another 4 hours. It's getting late here. Yeah. Jill says, sorry I was late. We'll watch back. You can watch, of course, the whole thing straight after the stream at your leisure. Skip forward back and find the good bits. Yeah. Good. So yeah, have you got anything you want to say before we call it a night? Any last message or final thought?
No, just I guess just keep at it. I mean, things are always going to be changing, and right now seems like there's a lot of change, and there kind of is, but that's okay. We'll figure it out as it comes, and in the meantime, best to focus on what you can control and keep creating content, and don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself.
That was beautiful, and it was in time with the music as well. I had a slight flashback to the Jerry Springer show when he used to finish with the final thought, but you remember that, Jerry Springer show? Yeah, I think that's exactly right. A lot of people fear the change and what's happening, and is this dead? Is that dead? I mean, we've been saying SEO's dead for many years, and of course, affiliate marketing is going to be dead because of cookies. There's a lot of things changing, but just remember, there will always be opportunity, and there will always be something that you can do online that can make you an income. For sure. Yeah, it was beautiful, wasn't it, Joe? Okay. Thanks a lot, Ricky. Just stay on the line for 2 seconds, and I'll just have a quick chat to you in the green room.
Got it.
Ariel, there are still tickets available for the Fringe in York. Go to wpeagle.com/fringe. There is only a handful, and you got to be there. We need you there, Ariel, so book your ticket now. It's at Brew York in York the night before Affiliate Gathering. Keep going, you're dead for a long time. That's Easy Spending Training's motivational message. Maybe not quite as inspiring and slightly depressing, but thank you. And thank you all. And I'll be back on Thursday for a hanging out, working, kind of chilling on an afternoon stream. So I'll see you then.
Sweet.
Good luck with your sites. Thanks, Ricky. Bye.
Yep.